Hi, I'm Tom Beccaro, Chairman of the California Republican Party. In his State of the State today, Governor Brown basically asked us to choose between the lesser of two evils. Brown wants us to make a choice, either support his $35 billion tax increase this November or suffer the consequences. Massive cuts that will harm schools, hurt hardworking Californians, and threaten the public safety and our families as dangerous criminals are released onto the streets. Brown is using doomsday tactics and threats to reduce funding in order to reach his party's ultimate goal, to raise your taxes. Of course, last year Brown tried the same tactic. Fortunately, our Republican legislators held the line against tax increases and instead ensured that your tax burden was reduced. Predictably, tax revenues rose after the tax reduction, and Governor Brown's sky is falling, no reform style of leadership was exposed. Rather than repeat last year's mistake, it's time for Governor Brown to take a new path. California now has a revenue problem. That problem is the result of 1 million less Californians working today than 10 years ago. We have the highest combined tax and regulatory burden in the country. Those policies make California uncompetitive and cost us jobs. After a decade of those policies, Californians have lost over $2 trillion in homeowner equity and simply don't have the money to bail out Sacramento anymore. And Jerry Brown's speech today gave us no strategy for restoring jobs. It's time for a new vision in California, a vision that creates jobs, protects our classrooms, and guards the public safety. Last year, Republican leaders offered a no tax increase budget that fully funded education. Governor Brown should take a second look at that proposal. Brown should also take a cue from the Democrat governor of New York and actually reduce the size and scope of the California bureaucracy. Californians have had to cut back on their budget. It's time for California to do the same. Instead of the 21% increase in spending that Jerry Brown proposes over the next 3 years, plus high-speed rail, it's time for California to actually reduce. In the coming weeks, California Republicans will offer proposals on how we can work together to solve this perennial crisis. I hope you'll join me and the conversation on Twitter at CAGOP. Thank you for listening.